What is up, everyone? It is DJ Martini Midwest Reviews coming at you with another video for my channel. Today I have a really cool video and review on the Steam Deck from Valve. It is a portable gaming PC slash console, sorta something to look into if you are interested in portable gaming. Definitely going to be giving you a kind of different kind of review. There is a lot of reviews out there. I'm going to kind of give it from a perspective of a few pros and cons, things like that, some specs, more in the idea of what you're going to need to get into or things that you should look out for when you're getting something like a device like this. So thank you for tuning in. It's DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. All I like to do is help do the research for you so you don't have to. Leave some links in case you guys are interested and give it to you as simple as possible so you can digest it easily and figure out what you think about some of these products. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. DJ Martini Midwest Reviews, and let's not stall there. Let's get into the video. Thank you so much. So today I've already done an unboxing, so if you want to see what's in the box and those types of things, please check that video out. There's not too much in it. So I got the Steam Deck here. I've been able to put a little bit of time and effort into just looking into a few things, and so I just wanted to start out right away with the specs on the item. That way we can kind of get through all that really quick, and then I can show you about the item that I think are important. So this particular model is $529, so it's $529, and it has 256 gigs of memory, which is NVMe. The standard one is $399. It only comes with 64 gigs and an eMMC smaller little card that is not as fast as, of course, a NVMe. And then the top of the line 649 is 512 gigs, so you definitely get some added memory, and then you get a anti-glare etched glass, which I don't know if is a huge thing, and then you also get some community bundle things in case you're interested in that. I really think you're probably, if you just want to kind of get into the game, the 529 is probably where you want to step in at, because it just has the memory you need. Because if you get a 64 gig, really that could be only one game and your memory is full. So I just don't think the entry level at $399 is sufficient. Now you can use SD cards, which we'll talk about later, to definitely add some memory to that 64 gig one. But I really think you just for internal memory and everything, at $529, yes, you could probably get it a little bit cheaper if you actually installed a storage card yourself, and you can get it, save some money, but then you have to go through the effort if you're not inclined to take things apart and do things like that. So jumping in at $529 I think is a good investment, and it's a good way to start. It does come with the AMD Zen 2. It's got a special GPU slash graphics integrated into one special card made for this unit that Valve kind of worked on, which is a GPU is a ARDNA, and then the ADM Zen 2. It's 16 gigs RAM. This particular model does have that 256 NVMe Gen 3. Definitely have all your main things that you need for the item. For specs wise, you have XYAB, you have 2 thumb sticks, you have these haptic touch pads, you have a Steam OS and a buttons that we'll kind of go into a little bit later. You have your D-pad, and then you have your top buttons, which are menu buttons and things like that. On the very top you have a power button, you have a USB Type-C, and then you have 3.5mm jack and positive negative for your volume. You also have your top bumpers right here and a triggers, and you actually have some programmable extra, they call them R4, R5, and L4, L5, L1, L2. So you have programmable buttons down here also for your play. You can see the valve on the back. You do have your vent ports here, and up top you can see there you only have one USB Type-C there, like I said, and then you have your micro on the bottom. So I do have a card installed there. Other than that, this is 669 grams, which is about a pound and a half. It's like a pound 0.4 something. It's pretty comfortable. It's really light. It's not as light as a Switch, but it definitely it doesn't feel super heavy. So you can definitely get away with gaming for 45 minutes to an hour holding this, and you're not getting super tired, which is definitely a plus, because I did compare it to the One X player, which is a lot heavier, and that one's a little bit hard to do that. Some extra specs that you want to look into: Bluetooth 5.0, so it does have Bluetooth. It does have stereo speakers, so it has 2 stereo speakers in it, dual microphones as well, USB Type-C, 45 watt charging. It has a 40 watt-hour battery inside of it. That's offering 2 to 8 hours of battery life when it comes to playtime. Now, if you're playing AAA games at the highest frame rate and all the features and everything, you're probably going to be looking at that 2 to 2.5 hour playtime, which is a little bit better than some of the others, like the One X player, in my opinion. Mine definitely shoots the battery down pretty well. 400 nits of brightness. The brightness is fine in my opinion, works really well. 60 hertz. It is an IPS LCD screen with a 16:10 aspect of 1280 by 800, and it does have a 7-inch screen, which I have put a screen protector on. Check out my unboxing video. I show how to get that done if you're interested in that as well. But I will put links in there for screen protectors and extra accessories that you probably will need with this when you're getting it. It's just something to think about. It does play your top of the line AAA games and all the good stuff. But in the box, basically all you're going to do is get a case, the charging plug, which is a 45 watt charger, but when you read it on the back, it only says 20 watts, 20 volts at 2.5 something. So a little weird there, but it is a 45 watt charger going into the Steam Deck, which, like I said, which does charge reasonably fast. I would say easily within 2 hours I can get a full charge, which is really cool. Like I said, battery life and everything was well done on the Steam Deck, in my opinion. So it's very versatile. The case is very nice, very thick case. Definitely has padding in there, nice material inside here, a nice little help to get the unit out when you lay it in there. And like I said, zippers pretty strong. Everything works there, and it has your nice little Valve logo there with the handle and everything. So pretty quality made items. Definitely has a little like suitcase holder as well. So let's talk about items that you're not thinking about when you get the item. So you're thinking this is like a Switch. When I get it, I'm just gonna pop it out, start playing all my favorite games, and that's not the case. So this is the part that I kind of want to get into, is about things you're not thinking about when you're getting the Steam Deck. We'll start off with a keyboard. You're definitely going to need some kind of keyboard when you're starting the install process and things. It does have an on-screen keyboard, which we'll get into in just a minute, but you're going to want some kind of off-brand keyboard. Have something like this, which you can pick up for, you know, between $15 to $19, and it does have a little USB port that you can hook into, or a dongle that you connect to a USB hub, which is another item I'll show you in a second. But you're going to want something like this, especially if you want to put Windows on this, which I have done a Windows Go type setup, so I can plug in a hard drive and into the USB Type-C with a hub, and I can switch it to Windows very easily. You do have to do a couple little technical things to get that done. You have to go into the boot menu and things like that, but it is possible and easily done. So something to think about. Now, this is my USB hub that I picked up. I also have an extender, so I can extend this a little bit, because this cord is not very long, maybe 6 inches. So you're going to want something to extend that, and you can see that I velcroed my hard drive to the top of this, and so that way I can switch it to Windows, and I can also have extra ports to hook up in memory and things like that. On this card, it also has a LAN port, so I can hook it straight to the internet. I can go to like a VGA, an HDMI port, and some extra ports, another USB Type-C that offers charging as well. So something you want to think about is getting a little hub like this, because you're definitely going to need it with only one USB-C port within it. The charging cord does work very good. It is well made. One of the best ones I've seen so far from these companies. Valve and Steam Deck got it right with the charging. You don't have to worry about it. It's not really picky. You plug it in, you're good to go, nothing to worry about. And this is actually well made. unlike some other companies like, in my opinion, GPD and 1X, their chargers aren't very good. You end up buying some kind of aftermarket one, and you have to go through some hoops trying to find out the right and get the right wattage and things like that. So it's just nice that they have a really solid charging cord, and I've had no issues with it. So those are some extra things, plus a screen protector. I would always get a screen protector with something like this. All right, I'm gonna go show you just a quick 2-3 minutes of features on the actual Steam Deck. Just want to kind of show you a little bit of operation of the Steam Deck. If you've never had one, never kind of seen the operation, some of the buttons and things like that. So we're gonna kind of get into it really quick here. So first we're gonna just go to the top real quick, and you're just give this button right here, which is your power button, a quick tap, and you will hear a little audible tone, and that means your item is firing on here. So we're going to see how quick it loads up and get to your menu. It does have, like I said, a 256 gig NVMe, so it is an SSD, so not too bad on the startup. It is a portable device, just to let you know. So up top you do have your bumpers here, like I said, your top bumpers and your triggers, and USB Type-C, volumes like I said. So you have your volume up here, which will show you a little volume counter up here. You can see right here you have it. This is touchscreen as well, so you can use a touchscreen, but shows my count, everything like that. General. You'll have all kinds of things you can set, your time zone, stuff like that, your internet, and we'll take a little time for setup. Now if you hit the Steam button over here, this is also take you to your settings. To shut it off, there is a power setting. You can go to here and you can shut down, restart, change accounts, switch to desktop, things like that. Just something that you should know if you're getting that. And if you hit B, it'll take you back. You also have your downloads, your media. If you have any kind of media that you put on here, you can get into that. General notifications, things like that. You definitely should go through all that. Your keyboard setup. You can look at your themes and things like that. Trackpad nicknames, downloads, cloud, stole, all those types of things. And you can definitely get into that through here. Now, if you want to get into desktop mode, you have to go ahead and go to power, and then switch it to desktop mode, because right now we're in regular Steam mode. So you're basically in your library to go to your games and things like that. If you have any games, I don't have many games on here, but there's a few, and you can go right into them right away. Okay. One thing I have been able to get on here was Microsoft Edge, so then I can get into my Xbox games. So that's kind of cool. So that's a feature you kind of have to look into. You kind of have to find how to do it, things like that. But if you want to open up like browsers and things like that, you have to get into desktop mode. So this is all just straight from your games and collections within the Steam Deck profile. So you're in their library and things like that. Some trackpads right here, which I have not really used that much, to be honest. You do have side menuing, your little side menus, so you can get to your everything that's up here that you can touch. You can actually get to it here. Wi-Fi mode, airplane mode, things like that. Your brightness settings. If you press that, it'll go away too. But you can also hit that by touching the screen as well. So, it's nice to have those two little menu buttons there. But let's go back to getting into your power setting right there and switching it to the desktop, because you will need to know how to do that, because there's a lot of stuff that you have to do through the desktop mode to set up your Microsoft Edge and things. So this is just like other desktops out there, say like Windows and things like that, that you want to download, maybe an internet drive. Now you can see those trackpads are working as a mouse pad. So yeah, anyways, you can go to application launchers, or you can browse your your file manager, which is called Dolphin in Linux, and Discovery, and Microsoft Edge, a browser. So you can open things like Netflix and things like that from the browser on the internet, and then you can do things like that on this device. So you can watch your favorite programs. And now it's a little bit more work if you want to put those in the Steam Deck library. You have to do a lot of stuff. You have to watch videos, and so that's kind of my problem with not having a Windows-based item. I enjoy my window-based items a lot more because I've worked with Windows for a long time. So But just some things to think about. There is a lot of options, and they are getting way better at, you know, little shortcuts inside, things that you can do to get everything you want on the main menu instead of going to your desktop, because you do have to switch back if you want to go back to the Steam library. If you're in desktop mode and you want to get back to your Steam library or return to gaming mode, you just go up to here, and we can go to here, and I can just, you know, use the touchscreen too, because there's not a really good button. It's kind of slick on these touch pads to double click. Sometimes it doesn't register, so you can just go there. So just to let you know how to get back to the Steam mode if you went to desktop mode. And like I said, you can use the on and off button. It kind of puts you in a standby mode. I usually will hit that Steam button and go to my library to power down, and then I'll go to shut down, and then it will shut down. A little bit of information there. Like I said, sometimes it's tough to navigate stuff in your desktop, so I would definitely have something like this. That way you can use the mouse pad easier on something like that. You can also use a keyboard to type things, because sometimes it's hard to type things within the Steam Deck. So just something to think about. I just wanted to show you a quick little tutorial on how to put it into your boot manager. That way, if you wanted to try to put Windows on this and you had a hard drive or a USB thumb drive with Windows Go on it, you can go ahead and start the process to get Windows on this. Now, I already had set this up, but I do have a USB Type-C port right here going to a little hub there. And you can see I also have a little SSD drive actually velcroed to my hub, and it's all a little portable unit that I can take around with me if I want to use my Windows with the Steam Deck. I also have an extension cord for this USB, so I can, you know, put it to the side and still use my Steam Deck in my hands. But all you need to do is you push the power button. We're going to go to the power button and the negative volume button and hold them at the same time. There you go. Once you hear the clicks, you're good, and it should fire into your boot manager, and there it is. And then you just go down to where your hard drive is. Mine's a Realtek NVMe, and then we're going to go ahead and click that. And you'll also notice you have your SteamOS, but we're going to go to my Realtek, and then it's going to go ahead and fire up Windows for me. So there is an option to get Windows on this with Windows Go. Just something to think about, and then you can still use this as a Windows device, but it is a little extra hoops that you have to step through to get that done. So notice I do have Windows on my Steam Deck, and I can fire up Windows and do everything Windows that I want with the Steam Deck. But like I said, just extra hoops and drivers that you'll have to install onto this to get that done. So I just wanted to make this quick little video and tip to show you that it can be done, but it's an extra hoop that you'll have to jump through. So just something to think about. I'm back, and we're gonna get into positives and negatives on the Steam Deck, and I'll let you know what I think. These are all my opinions about the Steam Deck, so let me know what you think as well. So first positive is price point. I definitely enjoy the price point of $399 just to get a console in your hands. $529 for 256, and the $649 for 512 gigs of memory. Like I said, definitely try to jump into a little bit more gigs of memory if you can. If you really want to save some money, you can definitely watch some videos on how to add memory yourself. But the 256 was a good option for me, and so far so good with that. You can add up micro SD cards, so just an option for that. But price point definitely awesome when you're talking about other units like the AO Neo or the One X player or the GPD3. All those are very expensive and can be into the thousands of dollars. Of the One X players, which is really starting around $800. So you're really jumping from there for some of those types of units. The comfort of the Steam Deck is awesome. This is very, very light. It is very comfortable, and I love the ergonomics of it very, very much. Like I said, I can hold it for about 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm not getting tired. I don't have to set it down on a table like I do the One X player. The One X player is very heavy. So this is built very, very well. I love the buttons. The only ones I don't like is the top triggers or the top bumpers. just because they're so close to the frame, and you can accidentally hit the frame if you kind of pull your finger up too much. But other than that, I love the way it's built. I haven't used the trackpads much other than that little mouse feature, but I do use aftermarket, like I said, keyboard and mouse anyways. Just something to put out there. Everything works on this very, very well. Bluetooth, all those types of things. So it was built very, very well with that Steam OS that's in it. Also, I love the charging capabilities, and I love the charger that it comes with. It is a very well made charger. You just plug and play the charger and it's good to go, which I've had issues with other players like the One X player. So the charger's built well, works easy, 45 watts. Boom, charge it. Probably takes 2 to 3 hours to charge, and you're ready to go again. So those price point, comfort, battery, and charging system all works together very, very well. Very, very well built by Steam Deck and Valve. So kudos for all those positives on there. The Steam OS does work very well with what it's really made for is for the Steam gaming platform to work with that program. So if you have Steam games, you can play all your favorite games, load up your libraries, things like that. Works great. I do like that they did put a desktop mode in there, and you can kind of play with it and figure it out on how to get other extras. I do like some of the workarounds with Proton and all those things that they're coming with to make more items available to you on the Steam Deck, which is very, very cool. So there's always look out for all the new stuff that they're kind of putting in there. Check out all the videos that are out there. That way you can get more items put on there and make it available to you. So let's go into the cons. So first con I'm going to talk about really quick is the SD card. Once you put an SD card in this, it will be locked to your Steam Deck. I mean, you can use it, but I don't know. I am a Windows person, so I don't have another Arch base, Linux program that can run those SD cards. So you really can only use them on your SD card in this Steam Deck. Also, if you have like multiple SD cards, I had issues trying to find the SD card on the Linux-based system. So even though I have this hub here and I plug it in and I have a memory card in here, it's only going to see one of them, and so I can't transfer files. So I had to go ahead and load them onto my Steam Deck memory, and then load them onto that particular card that I want them to be saved on. So that could be an issue. I don't know if anybody has a workaround. Let me know. So that's one thing I had issues with the SD cards, is just trying to use multiple ones to try to transfer information. So let me know if anybody can tell me anything about that. And then another thing I just want to get into is the Windows-based versus Arch base. So now I know that community is probably going to give me some gruff on this, but I am a Windows person that have used Windows my whole life. I don't use Apple Macs and things like that. I have tablets and phones, but I've never really gotten into those, and I've not been a Linux person. I've always been a Windows person. So having Windows-based things for me, second nature. So I know a lot more about Windows than I do, so it is a learning curve, and I don't think anybody can take that away or say it's not a learning curve to switch from Windows to a Linux-based thing. So if you, who is this device for? If you have Steam and you play all your games on Steam, then this is perfect for you. You can do other things, and like I said, there's a lot of workarounds that you can play certain other games on this, but if you are a Windows-based person and you use Epic and you use Xbox and things like that, there are workarounds to use them on the Steam Deck now. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot easier to just load a Windows-based device like the One X player or this GPD3, Win 3, and load them up and get going. It's a lot faster. You don't have to do the workarounds. It also has the window art and all that stuff. You don't have to move files around. It is just a lot easier. There's no learning curve to some of the other devices. Yes, they are more expensive. I'll talk about those in future videos and comparisons and things like that, but it's just easier, in my opinion, to use a Windows-based item. So if, like I said, if you're a Steam user, the Steam Deck is awesome. And I do have a way to put this in boot mode and load Windows on this, like I said earlier, but it's just something I don't do a lot because I have these other devices. It's just easier to do. Now, if I can figure out how to put it into a dual boot mode where I can get both on the same within the device. Maybe I'll do something like that in the future, but it does work very, very good with the SteamOS. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I am a Windows-based person, and it is a learning curve to learn the Linux-based, Arch-based system, learning the different terminology and names for some of the similar things that Windows has. So just something to think about is the software and your capabilities, okay? Other than that, I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate this is a different kind of review, just based on some things that you need to look out for when you're getting the Steam Deck, in my opinion. So thank you so much for tuning in. DJ Martini Midwest. I'm also going to be doing comparison videos with the One X Player 2 that'll be coming really soon. Talk to you later. DJ Martini Midwest. Thank you so much.